Hey, so today I'm going to do a video of the top 5 things that I wish I knew before visiting Japan. Um, I went last year and some things did kind of disappoint me. So hopefully this will help people maybe in similar circumstances contemplating a trip over there. Okay, so the first thing that I wish I knew before visiting Japan is that they listen to like mindless pop music all the time. I was really happy to get away from Canada where we're always inundated with this kind of saccharine bubblegum pop all the time, over and over and over, generic pop. Um, Now, Japan, as you know, is kind of a center for noise music and interesting genres like that. So, unfortunately, I was shocked to find that the kind of the mainstream, or at least what the corporations are feeding to the mainstream, is just basically the same thing. I was in a mall in Osaka, and they just had Ed Sheeran on over and over on repeat. Ed Sheeran, it was a real disappointment. So on a related note, keeping with the musical theme of this first thing I wish I knew before visiting Japan, they really listen to a lot of CDs over there, and that's kind of their format of choice. If you're looking for cassettes or vinyls or something like that, you'll have to really look for it, really search it out, because the mainstream basically listens to CDs. I was surprised to find out. I went into Tower Records looking for some Merzbow on cassette. I couldn't find any. I did manage to find one of his albums on vinyl, but other than that, just CDs. That's all they had. Okay, so the second thing that I wish I knew before visiting Japan is they're really far behind on vegetarian options. A lot of the cuisine there is based on like fish broths, and things of that nature. I would always ask if they had a vegetarian dashi or something like that. Sometimes they didn't even understand what I was saying. And basically, I had to start eating fish in order to sustain myself so I wouldn't die, basically. It was really, really unfortunate. And one perfect example of this whole attitude, I'll bring a picture up on the screen if we can manage that, but read this. There is no food for vegetarian. We cannot accept. Just order drinks and beer. Like, I don't know, that's a very, very poor attitude, especially this day and age. Gluten intolerance is rampant, and vegetarianism, veganism. It's just common sense. Come on. Okay, so the third thing I wish I knew before visiting Japan is smokers over there aren't ostracized like they are in some of the more progressive countries in the world. In fact, they're often welcomed with open arms into like bars, pubs, uh, izakaya, and things like that. Just smokers everywhere. It was a real downer when I was going out for a fun night on the town. Just having this fog of poison just everywhere you go. Now, the only time they really show any kind of consideration is basically they have smoking sections outside, like you can't smoke on the street, but you can smoke in bars. Now, the reason they have smoking sections outside is they're concerned with litter. They're not concerned with cancer, those kind of things, illnesses. I think 90% of all deaths are caused by smoking. They're concerned about a cigarette butt on the ground. So, shows where their priorities are. Okay, so the fourth thing that I wish I knew before visiting Japan is a lot of places they don't speak English. Like if you go out of the city, for example, we went to a distillery kind of in the middle of nowhere. We got there, we were going to do a tour, and there was this long list that we had to fill out, or an application, or honestly, I don't know what it was because it wasn't in English. And no one there spoke English. So basically, when I was filling out this form, I had to copy off my neighbor and just fill in what they did. Unfortunately, I inadvertently said that I was driving, so I couldn't have any samples of the whiskey at that distillery, which was it was a bummer. It was problematic, and it just put a damper on everything. Okay, so the last thing, number 5, that I wish I knew before going to Japan is they're really, really uptight about punctuality. For example, on the trains, I was running a little bit late. Whatever, just something out of my control, obviously. So I got there like a few minutes before the train was set to leave. I told the person at the ticket booth that I'm sorry, I need to catch this train. Can you please hold it up for me? They refused. They absolutely refused. The train has to go exactly when it's supposed to go. They can't, not even for something out of my control. It was disappointing again. I missed the train, and then I had to wait till the next one that was like 10 minutes later. It was a real drag. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love Japan. They have a beautiful culture, beautiful art, and all of that. But just keep these things in mind just so you're prepared, so you're not faced with disappointment when you get there. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it was informative, educational. Please subscribe to my video for more content like this. Thanks a lot.